Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and this is my puppy Gummy who has decided to join us today. Welcome to my channel, and today I will be talking about winter sowing annuals, warm season annuals to be specific, and tell you all about that. So I have a couple of other videos that I posted earlier this winter where I was winter sowing perennials, natives that are native to my area, and then cool season annuals. And those I put out in mostly January, some of them in early February when temperatures were still very cold. The nights were still getting down into freezing temperatures, and that's the perfect time to winter sow all of your perennials and natives and your cool season annuals. And winter sowing, if you're new to this, it's basically just putting some dirt, 3 inches of dirt inside of these milk jugs, or if you have other clear containers like this ice cream container that I poked a bunch of holes in. I'll show you later how I'm going to be using that. It's just a little bit different. But basically you're using these as little greenhouses, and because they're little greenhouses, you can put things out and start seeds outside and in the winter time. So winter sowing, and what it does is it hardens off your seedlings from the very start. It makes them a little bit stronger, some may say, because they're grown in elements that indoor seeds are just not grown in. And so indoor seeds, you have to take a lot of time and patience and a lot of effort to make sure that those seedlings get acclimated from a nice, warm, lovely environment inside to the, harsh environment outside with wind and sunlight, bright sunlight, and sometimes cold temperatures and things like that. With the idea with winter sowing is that you're creating plants that are better adapted to the outside environment from the very beginning. And so if you lose a couple, that's okay, but they'll be the ones that do survive will be really great plants for you. And so like I said, I've already sown my perennials and all of that, and those can take the winter temperatures. However, I did find out through an experiment that if you winter sow warm season annuals like zinnias, tithonia, those specifically are the 2 that I tried to winter sow earlier this winter. If you do get a warm up where temperatures are warm enough to germinate those warm season annual seeds, mine did germinate and they became little seedlings. But as soon as we had a really hard frost, a hard freeze, like temperatures below 30, I think it was like 27. Actually, I think we had temperatures in the low 20s. I covered them up, but they did not survive. So warm season annuals are not great for early winter sowing. However, they are fabulous for late winter sowing. So in my area, our last frost date is in just a few weeks. And so I'm getting a little bit of a head start. I don't want to sow them indoors because, like I said, I just think that's way too much time and effort, and I hate hardening them off and grow lights and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. But I could direct sow them into the dirt, but I can't do that yet because I'm not past my last frost date yet. So the solution is, for me this year, I want to get a little bit of a head start, and I'm going to winter sow them just a few weeks before my last frost. And there actually is we just got done with a week of very, very, very cold temperatures, like the coldest temperatures all winter, and we're at late winter here, experiencing them here where I am in North Texas. We got down to 10 degrees and it stayed below freezing for 70 plus hours. So that was a really, really hard freeze. Pretty tough on some of the plants because some of them had already started to leaf out and things like that. My winter sown seedlings, perennials, and things like that, they're doing fabulous. So it works, y'all. Even if you experience like the coldest temperatures of your zone, it definitely works. The forecast in the next 14 days is showing that our temperatures are going to warm right back up, and our lows are going to be in the high 30s, early 40s, and then our highs are even going to be 70 degrees in a couple of days, 60s and 70s and things like that. So that's actually perfect for winter sowing your warm season annuals. When you think you're kind of over that whole winter hump, you can go ahead and winter sow them, and it gets them, I think, a jump start as opposed to direct sowing. So I went over all of the varieties that I have of warm season annuals, and now I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I may have taken off a little more than I can chew, so to speak, with warm season annual seeds this year. I have so many, and I'll go over them with you. Let me just tell you what I've done first. So the first thing that I've done to prepare all of this is, all of my milk jugs, I cut them and leave just one little space that's not cut so that I can open it up. Now, this part right here where the soil goes has to be at least 3 to 4 inches deep. That's how deep your winter sowing jugs soil depth has to be. And then I've also put holes. I don't know if you can see that. I put quite a few holes. I even did some in the sides so that there's really good drainage. And then make sure that the lid is off of your jugs because it needs this type of aeration. And then what I've also done, because I had clean hands and I'm about to not have clean hands after dealing with the soil, I have prepared my soil labels and I've put them in here. So that is that. I want to say a couple of things about winter sowing warm season annuals closer to your last frost date. It's a little bit different than winter sowing in early winter with your perennials and your cool season annuals, in that the temperatures are going to get higher. And even for these guys, once the temperatures rise, and probably what I mean by that is like the daytime temperatures getting into the 60s and 70s and even higher than that, you might want to think about putting your winter sowing jugs into part shade so that they're not in like direct sunlight. The other thing that you're going to want to do is probably provide a little bit more aeration on the top. And so I'm just taking it, I'm watching it. I haven't added any more aeration at the top of these jugs, but I may need to add it if they're getting really, really hot inside, because you're going to be taping this off. And so you just have to make sure that you have adequate ventilation, and maybe when it's like, bright sun and very hot, you have them in part shade rather than full sun. So that's a couple, and you have to make sure that you're watering them very, very consistently. They cannot dry out. As you know, if seeds dry out before they germinate, for sure, they will die. And then especially new little seedlings, they need to be watered, fairly frequently. And they can get watered through these little holes or through rain, things like that. But you're going to want to check on them fairly frequently as the temperatures increase. So all of that said, let me go over the seeds that I'm starting today. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to talk about, and I'm so excited about this one because I just got it today. This one is Thunbergia Sunrise Surprise. It's a black-eyed Susan vine. So last year I grew all kinds of different vines. It was the year of the vines for me. I grew a lot of annual vines and perennial vines, but my favorite annual vine was hands down black-eyed Susan vine. And so last year, the one that I got, I think it was like a mix. It was supposed to be a mix of white, yellow, and orange. I think all of the ones that I saw were a yellow color, maybe orange. But the Sunrise Surprise, this is from Park Seed. The Sunrise Surprise is like a mix of peaches and pinks and cream colors, and so I'm really excited to grow that. So let me find that jug, and I'm just going to place it in the jug that I've already labeled it and dated it, and I already have the label in it, so I'm just putting the seed in there. I'm just talking about the plant as I do that with y'all. Okay, so the next one is, so I have some zinnias, and I'm not going to be able to do all of them like right now, unfortunately. I don't have enough milk jugs. I'm trying to collect more, and then I could just go to Walmart and buy the $1.26 distilled water jugs, and I could use those, but trying not to. And I could wait a little bit. This is a lot to winter sow today, so it's no big deal. But the first type of zinnia that I'm really excited about, this is the Queen Lime Mix. And I've grown quite a bit of zinnias in the past, but I have never grown Queen Lime. So this is the year. I'm really excited. And this is a mixture of like, gosh, there's all kinds of different colors for the Queen Lime zinnias. So this is from Eden Brothers. Really excited about that one. Let me see if I can find it. Now, I will say this. So this is the one that I'm going to be growing Queen Lime from. This is a huge animal cracker container, and the divider isn't really in shape right now. It kind of fell when I transported it, but I made a little divider for this because it's so incredibly huge, and it's divided into 4. This way I could do 4 different plants here. And so for this one, this is actually going to be 3 different Gompphrenas and then the zinnia Queen Lime. So I'm just going to put that in here and move on. Okay, so let's see, what else do we got? Okay, so some more zinnias. Chippendale Daisy is another one I'm really excited about this year. So I'm kind of looking for a lot of yellow because I've grown Rudbeckia for that yellow interest in the past, but I don't know why I cannot get Rudbeckia to last an entire season and perennialize for me to save my life. A lot of you can, and I grow a lot of beautiful things, but I just cannot grow Rudbeckia for some reason. So I've been looking for replacements for that yellow color that I crave so much. And this Chippendale Daisy from Eden Brothers is, I think, going to be a really nice one. And again, it's going to be grown annual, but it's like really pretty yellow with, I think, an orange center in it. So that one is going to go in here. This is another one of those huge containers that I have a divider in that divides it into 4, and it's 4 different zinnia varieties. So one of them is the Chippendale Daisy. Okay, so this is one that I'm really excited about. I love dwarf zinnias, and so this is Zinnia Profusion Double Hot Cherry, and I've seen it a lot. This one is grown by, I'm trying to think, Jim Putnam, and it's also recommended by him. There's another one I have that's recommended by him, but I've seen it grown also by someone else. I forget who it was, but really excited to grow this one. It's a nice dwarf variety. It can be grown like as a border plant, which is what I'm planning for it. I do like dwarf zinnias, so that's one of them. Another dwarf variety that I'm growing is Pinwheel Mixed Colors. This is one I actually have used some of the seeds for. I tried to winter sow it in early winter, and it came up, and those seedlings were so nice and petite compared to the other zinnia seedlings that came up with it, like State Fair Mix and Cactus Mix. These were so nice and petite even as seedlings, so I'm really excited. Before they got taken by the hard freeze, they were just beautiful. So Pinwheel Mixed Colors is another one. Another dwarf variety is Zahara Mixed Colors as well. So Zahara is another really famous dwarf zinnia, and this is just a mix of all of them. So those will all go in that big container there. As well as, yes, okay, the Dreamland zinnias. So last year I did Dreamland zinnias, and they did pretty well. I can't put my finger quite on what happened. I did them mid-summer season, and so because they didn't grow in the spring when our temperatures were a little bit better for them, I feel like they didn't do as well as they could have. But I did get lots of seeds from my favorites, and they're just they are a dwarf zinnia where it's a huge flower that you would expect on a tall zinnia, but it's much more smaller plant. So big flowers, small plant, that's what I love. So I'm also going to be trying to get these seedlings going for this year as well. So the next one that we're going to try, this is brand new to me, Amaranthus Love Lies Bleeding. So I've never grown Amaranthus before. I've had my eye on Amaranthus Love Lies Bleeding for quite a while. So when I saw this at only $1.99 at Target, I went ahead and picked it up. I'm really excited about that. So let me find where which jug is labeled for that one. There it is. Next up is Cosmos Apricota. Such a beautiful pink Cosmo. Oh my goodness. I tried, so I've only grown 2 types of Cosmos so far. I've grown your typical like classic orange Cosmo, and they grew everywhere. They reseeded themselves. They grew for several other years actually. Great plant, to be honest. I love the orange ones. And then last year I tried the Rubenza. Was it called Cosmos Rubenza? They're red. Those were from Botanical Interest, and they never germinated for me. That was weird because the orange Cosmos germinated so easily, reseeded so easily, and then the red ones I just could not get to germinate last year. So I'm going to try one more time with a pink variety this time, and I'm excited about those. The next one is Craspedia Yellow Drumstick. This is also known as Billy Buttons, and I was inspired by this from Joyful Farmer, another YouTube channel. She also is a very good friend of mine. Her name is Kendall, and she has grown these successfully here in North Texas. So I was like, hey, those are fantastic. I love these. So another pop of yellow. I do love a pop of yellow in every garden for sure. So those are gorgeous. So next up, I have 2 varieties of basil that I want to try this year. This one is just this. I've actually used this. This packet is a couple years old as well, but I have 2 packets that are a couple years old that I'm going to use. This is your traditional sweet Italian or container variety basil, and I have had success with basil in part shade / shade. It grows really well for me in that environment, and so I'm gonna try growing more of those and put them in my part shade / shade gardens and see how they do. I love having fresh basil to pick. I love fresh basil so much, because I do eat a lot of pasta and pasta sauce and things like that, and it's just, there's nothing that can beat like fresh marinara sauce with fresh basil in it. It's so good. So I will be growing the sweet Italian variety, and it's going in here. I have a little divider that I cut of cardboard for this ice cream container, and so I've got that basil, and then I've also got dark opal purple basil, which I'm super excited about. I'm not necessarily growing this for the flavor. I'm growing it as an ornamental plant, and I know that it can grow in part shade. So that's what I plan on doing with it. Just look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. And I probably will let it flower. Like I said, I'm not planning on using it necessarily, although we'll see how it tastes. It might be pretty good, but who knows? Okay, so the type of soil that I'm using is Proven Winners All-Purpose. I think it's potting soil. Yes. So it's great. It's, you know, I don't use seed starting mix when I'm winter sowing my jugs. I want to make sure that there actually is a little bit of fertilizer, like you can use your regular potting soil, because that helps the seedlings as they're coming out and they're starting to grow. And I've found good luck with Proven Winners so far. I'm going to run out of this bag of Proven Winners, and so I'm going to switch to, I couldn't get a bag quickly, so I just went to my local Walmart this morning and I got Miracle Grow potting soil, just your normal Miracle Grow potting soil. And for winter sowing, everybody says that it works really well. I have used it in the past as well, and it does work. So that's what we'll be using once we run out of this. So definitely want some gloves for sure. And then this is just kind of the tedious process of it all. All right, so we'll start over here. This is the Coloca Rose Coleus. Got to take the things out of there. In regards to the moisture of the potting soil, I have a watering jug ready. Basically, you want it to hold its shape. This is probably pretty good, but I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. I like it to be a little bit on the wet side, especially when you first plant the seeds. So hold on real quick. So we'll just mix that in. And to be honest, some of this soil is still frozen because we literally just got above freezing today. And I put it out in the sun way earlier today, but some of it is still frozen. So I may have to switch to that Miracle Grow potting soil earlier than I thought. I'll use as much of this as I can, and then what's frozen we'll just use for a later time, I guess. Okay. So this is not dripping wet, so it's still not too wet, but it definitely holds its shape, and so that's perfect. We'll just get that all in. And again, you need 3 inches. That's a frozen piece, so I'm not going to use that. You need a good 3 inches of soil for root growth and all that kind of stuff when you're winter sowing. And I'm not compacting it, I'm just kind of pressing it down a little bit to make sure, because when it gets watered and settles in, you don't want that soil depth to be less than 3 inches. All right, so that one is good. Nope. I'm gonna take the gloves off. Now I can put the seeds on. And also, with winter sowing, typically you want to do some research and find out if your seeds need light to germinate or if they need darkness to germinate. If they need light to germinate, don't go by what the back of the seed packet says in terms of put it, sow it 1/8 of an inch deep, 1/4 of an inch deep, 1/2 inch deep, whatever it says. If it needs light to germinate, just press it into the soil for whatever reason. What I'm told, what I'm taught with the winter sowing process is that these instructions are not made for winter sowing. They're made for indoor seed starting or direct sowing. It doesn't apply to winter sowing. And so as long as you've got them on top of the soil and you press them firmly into the soil, then you should be good to go, unless they need darkness to germinate, in which case you want to do it however the packet says. I did some research on all of these. And honestly, the only one that kind of needs darkness to germinate, and even then it's mixed when I look it up on Google, is zinnias, believe it or not. And with my zinnias, I'll put them 1/4 of an inch in. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to place them on top of the soil. I might just like push it into the soil and put a tiny bit over it just to make sure it stays there and has good contact with the soil. But that is it. So here we go. We'll put the thing in. And we'll see how many we get. Oh, there's a baggie inside of the bag, the seed packet. Oh, they're so tiny, y'all. Those are coleus. And that's a little bit frustrating. There's maybe, well, 1, 2, 3. There's probably 30 seeds in here, but they are so tiny. Okay, be careful with this. So what I'll probably do, I do not have time to take a toothpick and, no time for that. I'm not that kind of gardener. So we're just going to sprinkle it and then press them in. Okay. Okay. Wow, they're even hard to get out of there because they're sticking to the plastic. Here they come, maybe. Man, I can't get them out of the plastic. Oh, here they come, maybe. Man, I can't get them out of the plastic. Oh, that's not great. Okay, hang on. Let me put these in. So this I put all over here. And I may have to open up this baggie. Didn't plan on that, but I'm going to open it up over the thing. Oh, I can't even get it open. Come on. Really? There, I got a few there. I'm just going to have to stick my finger in there. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So all of the seeds are in there now. Oh, there's 3 in the packet. Maybe not. Here we go. Okay. And I'm just pressing everything down into the soil. You can't even see where the seeds are. That's okay. It's okay. All right. So, first one done. So next, what you do is you take your duct tape. I get a long strip. Kind of put it around. Try to get rid of some of the dirt. And just go all the way around and then break it. And then you kind of just gotta make sure there's no leakage, and it's done. So first one done. Like 19, 20 more to go. Okay, well, we've run into a little bit of a speed bump. So I just bought these Miracle-Gro bags of potting soil at Walmart, and obviously I didn't even think about this. They were keeping theirs outdoors as well, and so a lot of this soil is frozen. I'm not going to use that to Winter Sow Warm season annuals. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to have to wait for this soil to thaw out, to be honest. And a lot of these jugs that say February 22nd, it's actually going to be probably February 23rd. But stay tuned. I'll be filming the rest of this on a later date once the soil's not frozen. Okay, just kidding. I think I've been able to get some really hot water and pour some hot water on that Miracle-Gro potting soil. I took out a few of the frozen lumps, and otherwise it looks like it might be okay. So I'm going to be able to do at least a few more of these jugs. So I'll let you watch that. Okay, so I forgot to talk to you guys about the Gomphrena. So I have 3 different types of Gomphrena. Hold on. You guys should probably be able to see me a little bit, but I have 3 different types of Gomphrena. I have Buddy Purple, which is going to be, I didn't know this before I bought it, but it's from Baker Creek, and it's more of a compact Gomphrena. So that's exciting. What does it say? It says short and stout. It stands just 8 to 10 inches tall and about as wide. Heat and drought tolerant, which Gomphrena absolutely is. So super excited about Buddy Purple. And then I just have like Globosa mixed. So that's just a mix of the Gomphrena colors, normal standard size. And then I got this from Botanical Interest. It's QIS Fiery Sunrise Blend. Beautiful colors of red and orange and pink. I've never seen Gomphrena like that before, so that's super exciting. The only issue was this did not have many seeds at all, and I think I saved a little bit of them, but the reason that I forgot about these was because oh no, now I've figured, okay. Now I don't know which seed type is which, because these things were sitting on them, and oh, that's a bummer. Okay. Gomphrena requires 24 to 48 hours of soaking. So I have been soaking these guys for about 36 hours. They've got to get in soil now. So I've got to get these done. So the only problem is I had these sitting on top of which seed packet they were. And then when I went to go get them, I mixed them up. That's not cool. The only one I know for sure, actually I think I know because of the amount of seeds. So this only has a few, I only did like what, 12, 10, 12, because I think it only came with 20. And so that's the QIS Fiery Sunrise blend. So I do know that one. And then I remember that there was a ton of Gomphrena seeds. That's what these are for the Globosa mixed variety. So these are the Globosa mixed because I have a lot of them in there. And then these are the these are the Buddy Purple, so the more dwarf kind. So yay. I'm really glad I remembered based on the amount of seeds in each. So those have been soaking, those are ready to go, and so I'll be getting that ready right now before I run out of soil that is not frozen, because they have to get planted today. Okay, so I've kind of I'm starting to run out of sunlight, and I've run out of time. I am going on a date night tonight with my husband, and so it's just time for me to go. I will have to finish up. I have 5 more jugs to do, and I will do that tomorrow morning, hopefully before church. And it turns out I did have enough of the Miracle Grow potting soil that was not frozen. I will have plenty to do the 5 jugs tomorrow morning as well. But I thank you for joining me. I hope that you got inspired. It's almost go time, everybody. We're all getting towards hopefully our last frost date and just time to go in the garden. So it's an exciting time. I hope that you're able to get out and enjoy some warm sunshine, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.